Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another weekly outlook where I go over all the major pairs, and I tell you what my analysis is on them and my expectations. So quickly, we start on the DXY to show what the general strength of the dollar has been for the past week and then heading into next week too. So we start on the daily. We can see that the dollar itself had come to this highs here, and then now we're seeing a pullback of that dollar strength, but we can also see that it is coming into this area of supply here. So dollar is currently in an interesting location right now. We could see a break of the supply area, and then dollar continues down to this 79.8 area here, or we could see this supply area holding and then dollar continuing up. But right now it's seeming more likely that this supply area here will be broken for the dollar to come back here. On the 4H, how is that reflected? So on the 4H, we are seeing this is the 4H. We have our major areas here, and then this major 4H higher low here, that if broken would signify the continuation of this bearish nature. So what we'll be looking for is extra confirmation for the dollar to actually break these areas and then continue down. The reason why we were checking out the dollar is to give us clearer directions and inform us better as to what pairs like GBP USD will do going into the week. So on GBP USD, we can see that for a while now we've been on this extended range that's wide, but then a range nonetheless. And right now on the range we can see that price has been slightly bullish since 29th of July, right? So heading into next week, and with our expectation of what DXY should be doing, we should be looking for continuations of GBP USD strength. So let's mark out our major areas on the 4H here, and then let's see here. So as you can see, it's not as clear as it would otherwise have been in clearer market conditions where it's not ranging on the daily, but we can still work with this. So major high here, major high low here, not yet confirmed the high low because we haven't broken this major high here, but then a low created here, so marking it out as the current major area, and then this low here. So now we look for supply and demand areas within this markets here. So somewhere like this, I have 3 criteria when it comes to marking out what a demand area or supply area is. It's candle formation, it's break of the supply area itself, breaking a structure, and then it's also displacement. So candle formation like 1 2 3 candles, and then displacement being price moving up, and then also this area here, the supply area or the demand area, breaking a high. So we can see right now that this one hasn't breaking any major highs. This supply area this demand area that we have marked out hasn't broken any major highs except for this internal ones. but we can still use it based off the displacement that it has created. And then the candles itself, we've had this base and then this rally up, so I'm marking this out as a demand area, and then this area too, this area as a larger demand zone. So going into next week, if we are looking for continuations of GBP strength, I would either be looking for buy opportunities on this demand area here, so price coming back to this demand area before continuing back to the 354 level, or price moving up, so something like this. Let's use arrows, price moving up, coming back, and then continuing the move up. But then for now we are looking for price to come back into this demand area here before we look to long the market. And as you can see, there isn't much structure showing us bearish signature, so there isn't really a reason for us to be looking for sell right now. So on the 15 minutes on a 3TF, on the 15 minute, it looks, it's not the cleanest of structures, but let's mark out this major high here, STF, and then this major high low here, right? And then if we are, like we said, on the HTF looking for trades within this HTF demand area, we will now mark out 15-minute demand areas within this 4H demand area to look for opportunities to long the market. So in this case, for me, it's the one that's catching my eye is this area here because of the significant displacement that it created. So it created a displacement and then it broke this high too. So we have two criteria met to create the supply area, and then of course the candle formation too. So something like this. So going into next week, I would be looking for shorts around here. I would be looking for longs, sorry, around here, or if we are being aggressive, we could look for the longs around this area too, around this, or nah. I think I would stick to this area instead. This would be the area that I would be looking for longs going into next week. So if it doesn't do this, I would be staying out. So I'll just be waiting for the market to come back to this area before looking for the longs, or if it starts breaking this area here, then we can start looking for something like this. Let's say it breaks this area, it breaks it, we can start looking for the demand that broke this area. That's if this area is broken, we can start looking for the demand that broke the area to buy there and then continue up. But for now, this criteria has not started being met, so this is what we are looking for now. This is the narrative we're choosing. On Euro USD, we've had similar, where markets have been in the rangy conditions. So let's mark out this also had this exact marking last week, but then every new week I delete all the drawings and then start again for a clearer market picture. So I have to now start withdrawing similar in cases where the markets are either range or doing similar things. I would have to remark out. So on Euro USD we're seeing this. On Euro USD I would mark out this area of demand here, and then this area of demand too, of supply, sorry, this area of supply. So going into next week, we might see a reaction off of this supply area, price coming back before it continues back up, or it could be that this is the place where Euro USD starts being bullish, and then instead of pulling back and then continuing up, we see that this bearish trend that has been happening for the past few months continues from this supply area here, and then this area gets broken. But then on the 4H, for now let's just look for this ideas instead, where it's price pulling back after touching this area and then seeking continuations up, considering that we said the DXY is also in a bearish market right now. So keeping that in mind and correlating it with the euro. But on the 4H, let's mark out this major areas here, HTF, and then this major low too. Let me see something, this major low too, and then I'll now mark out this area of supply here on the 4H, because it is a significant area of supply. We have this area of supply, but then this is also a significant area of supply here. So if you're seeking bullishness, we'll do again, price has touched this supply area, so we could see continued bearishness to this point and maybe breaking it. But if we're seeking bullishness going into next week, we can wait for price to come back to around these areas here before looking for buys back to this supply area again. So it would look something like, let's drop down to the 15 minutes, it will look something like this major high here. We have this major high here on the 15 minutes, our entry time frame, and then we have this major low here. We have this broken area. So seeking buys, I would look for price to come back to in and around these areas here, this supply areas here, before continuing bullish. So around here, price coming back to this area here before continuing bullish, or if this area gets invalidated here, wait for price here before seeking that continued bullishness. But for now, I'm not looking for sells until this major high low here gets broken. I am still looking for buys on Euro USD. So that's my take on Euro USD. Then gold on the daily. Interesting. So gold had been selling off for the past few months, but then in recent days we've seen this bottoming out of gold, and then now we're seeing this comeback of bullish pressure on gold. So going into next week, let's mark out the major highs. Going into next week, I would be, this right here is a major daily supply area. This is a major daily supply area. So what we could see is either price respecting it to continue down, or price pulling back and then continuing the bullish nature. So respecting it, coming back down, or price pulling back and then respecting the bullish nature. How is it reflected on the 4H? So major area here on the 4H major area here, 4H major low here, and then we also have this supply area. So supply area within supply area on the 4H, and right now as you can see it has touched the supply area. So there would definitely be, even if we are looking for buys, this is not the time to be jumping on the buys, because there will definitely be a reaction here. So you could pull back down to say this areas here before markets continue back up. But as for now, this is not the place to be looking for buys on gold right now. And how that would be reflected on the 15 minutes. First, let's mark out this internal supply area here, because it could be significant if we are looking for buys moving forward. So we could be on the 15 minutes now, our entry. Let's see, major high, major low, and then again, if we anticipate reactions here and we don't want to buy into this traffic, because we know if we were to buy into this because of the supply area, our setup would not be high probability, because the markets could be bullish, but then just because there is a supply area here, we might see markets pulling back, and just that pullback on the higher time frame would take you out on your lower time, your entry time frame and your lower time frames. So we shouldn't be buying into this supply areas here. So what we should be doing is waiting for market to either come back to here, this area here, before we look for buys. So in and around here to look for buys, or we wait for it to come back to this area here. Before we seek our buys. This does not give me enough range. I want the opportunity to be able to break even before I get into this area. So let's use this demand area instead of this one, because I need the range. I want the ability to be able to do this, the ability to be able to break even before price comes back to this area here. So by the time it's here, I can already be on BE. So even if it reverses on me, I would be on BE. So I think I would do this instead on DXY. But we have this previous high here that has been broken, and we could definitely see price coming back to retest this supply area here instead of the one that I have marked out before continuing its bullish trajectory up. But yeah, for now this is what I'm looking for on gold. Let me change this. This is not meant to be marked out as PSI broken, so we could see we want this before we see this, or this deeper before you see a continued bullish nature. But for now, let's just observe and watch and bide our time. So yeah, those are the 3 major pairs that I'm interested in for the week. Euro USD, what can I do? Euro USD, GBP USD, and then gold. So yeah, let me know in the comment section what you're looking at and what your expectations are for the market, and have a good trading week.